covering up your funny t-shirt. You gotta do it low.
We're rolling.
Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel, and here we're in the woods for the first time in our homestead. So today we're going to tackle a project that it is more outdoorsy, as you can imagine, because we're here in the woods. So stick around and we're going to tell you all about it. So we had a small fire pit, portable fire pit here.
It's a bowl,
yeah, a fire bowl, and we want to improve it and do something better. We have a little bit of substrate here, so we have pavers and we have a little bit of gravel. But as you can see, we have to do a little bit of cleaning, and we are going to do that. So today's project will be an easy to build, low cost and somewhat low labor fire pit. So stick around, and as always we're going to show you everything you need to know on how to build it. So here is a general idea of the area that we're going to be working on, and the house is behind us as you're seeing here. So this is our woods, our personal forest, an area that we really enjoy, but we're not using as much because we have not had the time to work on it yet. But now that we've done a lot of work on the house, we start moving on this area. We're going to start by cleaning this area, not fully, this will take days to clean fully, but clean the area of the fire pit so we...
To get this immediate area.
Yeah, we can actually work in it.
Okay.
And you can see there are the bench we built some time ago, and as you can see, it still looks great. It has been in the rain and the weather, no problem. So we're going to be right back.
Okay, so we're starting on our cleanup here. We've got a few things we need to kind of get out of the way before we can even start with the weed eating, to just trim back all of this greenery. This pile has been here since they purchased the homestead. It was obviously just a let's throw it in this pile kind of thing, and hopefully we're going to get to this in a much more organized way and get it out of the way so that it's not right next to the fire pit. It's obviously a home to some creatures that we'd rather not be hanging around.
And I think this is also a dumping ground for any additional dirt that was...
You think they were dumping dirt here, like when they dug out for the fire pit?
Fire pit, dirt from the property.
Yeah, oh, okay. So maybe it's not as much wood, it's some dirt as well. Okay.
It's both, but I can see a pile here.
Ah, okay.
That's earth.
Okay. Okay, so we have relocated the giant pile that was just to the side of the fire pit area. It's just a relocation. We definitely have to do some more organization of that, breaking it down, but at least it got it away and we can clear out this greenery. And brought this back just a little bit as well, just so we can make sure that we can see all of the rows of pavers. And now we're going to start the weed eating, or trimming, whichever word you prefer. Apparently the battery died after one little zip there. So let's do that. Fresh battery. We're gonna keep working. We will keep working on this and show you when we have finished clearing it up and let you know what it looks like then. As you can see, the area is starting to shape up. You can see a little bit more of these pavers. Try to move so the sunshine doesn't blind you a little bit. You can see it's a fairly substantial space. And obviously working to clear off this greenery pile. Here we go, we're getting ready to blow all of the debris away from this to see if there's anything else we need to trim. It is a little bit difficult with the shadows, but this area is much more defined now with the rows of pavers in this square.
While we're waiting on the materials to start building on the fire pit, we thought we'd work on a little bit, you know, more of the surrounding area, try to get some of this wood up off the ground. And we had made this attempt last summer by making this kind of makeshift with what materials we had. We had stacked all of these logs on top. And our handy friends, the you know, the tree rats, the squirrels, had come along and pushed everything off. I know, they're small creatures, but in a pack, they do a lot of damage.
And this side had become very uneven and was actually tilted that way.
Yeah, so that didn't help because they were rolling off the end.
So I've re-leveled this, gotten it straight again.
So now what we're doing is we're trying to figure out how we can make braces so that the logs don't go, you know, rolling all over the place. So that's what we're doing. We're taking, again, materials that we have at our disposal. The trees, the limbs, the cedar trees that have fallen, we're reusing those for some purpose, and we'll let you know what that turns out like here in just a minute. Elpida, do you want to show what we're doing?
Sure.
And this is an attempt. We'll have to see how it goes long term. We have to alter the plan.
So it's pretty steady at this point.
Yep. So we'll see if we can, you know, without building an entire structure out of good wood, we'll use the wood we have.
Okay. So we have cleaned up, stacked up. This looks so much better now, at least neat. Here's what we did with our posts. Pounded them in. We also found this long piece that we had used elsewhere that had kind of rolled off, so we've used that as a brace against the back. Try and keep those all in place.
And in retrospect, they went off the other way, so maybe we should have put our braces on the other side.
But it is kind of, I think in looking at it, it kind of looks like it's going back toward this way, so we're hoping that it'll stay. However, that said, it's all an experiment because the squirrels could do whatever they do, and tomorrow it could be all back on the ground. We don't know. But for today, it looks good, and we can walk and we can see the wood that we have, and it'll be good for the fire pit area, which again you can see looks really nice and clear now. There we go. and then all the little kindling that's in this little pile here, we'll organize that as well. That's probably our next step. He watched it right into the...
It's lower than it usually is, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So here we are. We came back from our favorite orange store, and we have the material we need to start the construction. And we're going to use our favorite green thing. The green thing, yeah?
It's an off-road vehicle.
We made good use of it a little bit ago too.
So stick around. We're going to start moving them to the back of the property, and we're going to be right back with you.
So here's our first trip with the first row of rocks. As you can see, this is quite a bit of weight, and the cart is doing great. We do need to put a little bit of air in the back tires, possibly all of them, but overall it's still doing a great job going over the terrain. The terrain here is very uneven, as we've talked about before.
The first time I've heard it chirping.
Squeaking, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we need to lubricate it?
Maybe.
So we set the first pavers down, and we don't like the size of it. We want to make it a little bigger. So this is what you have to do first, right? You have to put them down, play with them, decide the size you want, and then put the next pavers on top. So we're going to find the size we want, and we're going to get right back with you. So after a lot of work on Mrs. Wizard's side, we think, and Elpida, we think we like this size, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we decided we're going to put 3 courses here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove 2 of those pavers, so we have circulation under the fire, right?
Okay.
So we're going to do that, and we'll be right back with you. So we decided that instead of big openings in the bottom, we want smaller, roughly equally. We don't measure anything.
Mm-hmm.
We eyeball it. Equally distributed spaces in all of them. And this is necessary for air circulation to keep the fire going, right?
Okay.
So the next step will be now to do the second and the third
rows.
Courses. You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and the way we do that, we're going to start with a new paver in the middle, right?
So it overlaps that gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And they have a lip in the back. So you put the lip, and you see the lip is already on an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put the lip there, and it will help you keep the diameter going all the way up.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we did a little bit of fitting to get an idea of the exact diameter of the circle, because as you can see, as we add courses, the diameter changes, it gets a little smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the time that if you want to make it a little bigger, you have to unfortunately take them off and redo them, right?
Right.
But this is your decision point.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to stack them all and then realize that you wanted it bigger then.
Okay. So here we are relocating the pavers to make it the dimension we actually want. And it is important to know that you have a correct diameter so your second and third course will fit correctly. Otherwise you will have to change the dimension of at least 1 or 2 pieces per course to whatever gap you end up with, right? So, and once you are happy with that, you remove one of the pavers, keeping the same inner diameter, and you allow for the spaces to let the fire breathe.
Okay. Okay. So we've got the first row re-spaced. Doing the second row. There we go. And again, as you bring these in, because they have a lip to help hold them in place, that does bring your circle circumference in a little bit, so that's why we reallocated.
And the last one, we might actually have to go around and rearrange everything, you know, to make it...
Just to make it fit, yeah. We'll see.
But if this course fits, the top one will fit as well. So
yeah, that's actually pretty good, I think. Yeah.
Do you like it?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So now we'll put the third course on.
The third one.
And we decided we want 3 courses. You can go higher, you know.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you can actually put attach them to each other. We're not going to do that because in the future we might change that to something different.
Right.
But
and if you want to attach it, you tend to use what?
Well, you're going to use what you put between bricks. You know that mud, I forget
Mortar?
what it's called. Yeah, mortar. But it gets to be cement mortar that it is fire resistant, so it will
Right.
not
Don't they
crack.
also use some sort of adhesive that you can use on concrete?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again,
But again, it will have to be temperature, high temperature,
yeah.
otherwise it will not work.
Okay.
And we don't have it yet, and we might buy it in, later, but you can put a crate here to cook on top, you know.
A grate.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it will be our first project with the... So here is our finished pit, and it is a vast improvement from what we have before. Again, we chose not to glue them together, so we have the option down the road to change it if we want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is what we envision, it is something we like. You need...
A piece of what we had before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rusty fire bowl. That's what's left. Yeah.
This is much bigger now.
Yeah. Much bigger, much nicer. Tonight we'll have to do the inaugural
The
fire.
inaugural burn.
Yeah.
The lighting of the pit.
Yes. Okay.
All right, folks, so this is an afternoon project, I would say.
Well,
You don't need to cut, or really you don't even need to measure anything. In general, 10 to 13 blocks will allow you to close a circle. I mean, you will have to play with it, but you need 10 or 13 blocks to make a circle, right?
unless you're going to make an extra large fire pit, but just something this
Right.
size. This size is
And
nice.
again, the steps, you need to do the first one, so you will establish the diameter, and then you can see if you like it. Keep in mind that each course brings the diameter a little more in, not by much, however. I don't know if you can capture it to show the difference there. It's not a huge difference, but it is a difference, right? And if we decide on the top, I might even put something to close the gaps on top. It doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, you can beautify it, right?
Right. They do have cap ones.
The cost, normally. We end up with 2 or 3 extra pavers, I don't know. The pavers and the rock, and this is marble chips that we bought. You don't have to buy marble chips. It just happened that it was the cheapest appropriate thing that I found in the shop, right?
Okay.
And it is about $75.
Okay.
It will vary per location. And I say 75 because we pay 80, but we didn't use all the...
Right.
You could potentially return them, but probably will use them in the homestead somewhere.
And of course, if you had someone build something even this simple for you,
That would be several $100s.
right, right. So $75 might sound like a lot, but comparatively it's not.
Well, if you think about it, that thing that we were throwing away because it rusted, it's probably about $60
Yep.
to buy anyway, right?
Yep.
And these will never rust, will never go bad. I mean, you know. The worst thing that can happen is a deer headbutting it again.
Right.
Causes us to having to do it again. In
Right.
any case, we're going to give a little bit more beautification here. We'll show you the final space. Alright friends, and this is our episode for today. We are very happy with how it came. It is definitely an improvement over what we had before, right? And for under $80, I think this is a great investment in how your property might look. And I believe this is a project that virtually anyone can do, right? It is a project that has a little bit of, you need some strength, so the more people you have, the better off you are. But definitely a person by themselves can also do it. It's just a lot of lifting. If you did enjoy this episode, we'll ask you that you give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you might want to see in our channel in future episodes. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, Elpida and her son, and the Urban Homesteading channel, stay safe, put your masks on, get vaccinated. So we're going to see you in our next episode. Farewell, friends. So one of the things we don't have to buy is firewood, right?
Right. We've got plenty.
So this is our first, the inaugural fire pit fire. And we might repeat the exercise in the evening too, right?
You can just keep it going. We've got plenty. I mean, why start over? Just keep it going. Because it's all ready.
Because it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Problem is a lot of the stuff is really wet.
Well, I mean, there is some dry stuff. We just have to look for it.
Yeah.
So, like, some of that over there is going to be drier, and then this, the top stuff, should be drier.
And when it is really going, it makes no difference if it is wet or
Some
not.
of this will be a little drier because it's at least been stacked on top. Now, the back pile, not as much, because that's what we just picked up off the ground. And even all this stuff that I stacked over here is super wet.